Hello, and thanks again for joining our podcast series, A Day in the Life of an Ethical Hacker. Hosted by Synack's Tice Harrison, this series deep dives into the minds of our Synack Red Team members. They tell us why they chose this line of work, what they do when they're not finding vulnerabilities, and give us a glimpse into their everyday lives. Today's interview is with Nik Srivastava. Nik is a full-time researcher and has been a top 5 Synack Red Team member for the past 5 years. He loves to travel and explore least visited natural spots and always keeps a never give up attitude in life. He lives in India and has been working with Synack for 6 years. Before we get started, for those new listeners not familiar with Synack, founded in 2013 by former NSA security experts Jay Kaplan and Dr. Mark Kerr, Synack is the most trusted crowdsourced security platform, delivering comprehensive and continuous penetration testing. Synack combines the world's most skilled and trusted ethical hackers with AI-enabled technology to create a scalable, effective security solution. Headquartered in Silicon Valley with regional offices around the world, Synack protects leading global banks, federal agencies, DoD classified assets, and close to $1 trillion in Fortune 500 revenue. We hope you enjoy this interview. Now over to you, Tice.
Thanks, Michelle, and hello to everyone listening. Today, we're going to step into a day in the life of Nik, one of our ethical hackers from India. Welcome, Nik. Great to have you with us today.
Hi, Thais. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thanks. How are you?
I'm good too. Thanks.
Great to hear. So maybe for those listening at home, Nik, it would be good to know a little bit more about your background, where you're from, what you studied, and where you studied.
Okay. So I'm from Nainital. It's a hill station in India. And then I moved to Rajasthan. It's another state in India for my graduation. And I started my hacking from my college days only. And then I got job as a security consultant in Ahmedabad. It's one of different state in India. And I heard from one of my colleague that there is this kind of bug bounty thing is happening in the community, and you can also be the part of it. You just have to report the bugs to them. So they firstly introduced me to the Google bug bounty program. So I tried and submitted some bugs, and I got into their program. I got into their Hall of Fame.
Okay. Was there many other people in your community doing that same kind of hacking?
So yeah, there are plenty of people in my community and friends. They are already doing the bug bounty thing at that time.
Cool. And so you've been with Synack for 6 years now. How did you get into ethical hacking with Synack?
So I've been Googling about the bug bounty platforms. So I got introduced with the Synack at that time. I applied for Synack, and they did some web assessment, mobile assessment, and host assessment, and then they did the interview of me and background check of me. Then I get into the Synack platform. It's been 6 years working with the Synack, and I think it's one of the it makes me financially very fit now.
So is that one of the things that motivates you to do ethical hacking with Synack? Is it the financial side of it, or is it the gamification side, the sort of the leaderboards and all of that, the challenges?
So I wasn't very I was very financially weak at when I started off. So money was mostly the motivation at that time. So when I first started, I got around $6,000 in a week or two. And I still remember that I firstly go into the showroom and brought a car for me.
What car did you buy?
It's a Hyundai i10 car.
Well, it must have been a great feeling to have that straight away, first off buying a car.
Yeah.
And so over time, I guess you've been with us for now a very long time. Are you still now, are you more motivated by the money, or is it now is there sort of a bigger, being part of the team is more important? What's the most important thing for you now? What motivates you to keep doing ethical hacking?
So I keep on learning just because of the security community. I used to get updated by Twitter or reading other people's blogs. So I mean, these things keeps me motivated, and I actually getting financially fit now. So I want to give back to the community now.
And so I know that you do a lot of work for the security community and your community, also the Synack community. So you've been involved in some of the hacker hangouts. Is that right?
Yeah, I was involved in most of the hacker hangouts happened till now.
And most recently, the hacker hangout in Goa.
Yeah. So this time the concept of hacker hangout was different. Last 3 years they are having hacker hangouts, like they run competition for 2 months, and they choose the top 5 or top 10 from all the researchers, and they provide the fully sponsored trip to some kind of city. Like last year they did in Costa Rica, and before that they did in Bali. Before that they did in Vegas. Sorry, Mexico. And this year the concept was different. This year they planned 3 hacker hangouts in each part of world, and uh, they choose researchers from these hangouts, and they take them to into Tokyo. So that will be a grand hacker hangout going to happen this year only.
Wow, that will be incredible. And what do you most look forward to about the hacker hangouts? Is it the competition? Is it the meeting other ethical hackers? What's the most important part of it for you?
So I think the most important part is the collaboration. I mean, we work on same target, so we'll get to learn from each other. We see how other hackers prepare themselves for the target, how they think. So you get to learn from these things.
And so with that in mind, is there a specific way that you set up to start on a target? Do you have a routine that you follow normally to get sort of some automation going in your process and your workflow?
So it depends on what kind of target we get. If it is just a web target, we check the scope. If the scope is wildcard, we usually look for subdomains associated with those targets. If it is just some if it is just application and credential has been given, then we'll directly go to the target and start hunting. And if, say for example, if it's a mobile target, we will need mobile devices. I mean, if it's a Android application, if it's a iOS application, we need different kind of devices for that. And for host assessment, we usually get more of a help from Hydra. It's one of the product of Synack.
Yeah, and do you use Hydra to get more automation in your work, right?
So yes, so Synack has a rule of 24 hours of submission. I mean, you will in first 24 hours you have to submit the report, and they will evaluate it and on basis of better write up. So in first 24 hours in 24 hours you can't get whole of a scope. So Hydra gives you an option that you will see all the services running on the ports, all the what are the HTTP services, what are the other or all other services. So you will get a great help from Hydra to start hunting in right away.
Is there a particular vulnerability type that you like to focus on?
So I mostly look for XXCs, or I mostly like to go for access control issues.
Okay, and why is that?
So it's kind of it's my interest. I mean, I like to go for these vulnerabilities.
your preference. That's fine. Do you prefer 2-week sprints or continuous tests then?
So in continuous testing, the product must be the company must be active to fix all the issues and launch new features, and they update it about us. Update giving the updates about the product, what area they have implemented, and what they have fixed. So I mostly look into the new sprints, and I have couple of targets which in Synack which I look continuously. They are 1 or 2 targets only.
Okay. And is there a preferred technology stack that you like to target?
So in technology stack, I usually look for PHP, MySQL, and Apache.
It's interesting. I think I've had different answers actually from the different podcasts. So it's interesting to get your perspective on it. And why do you think that red teaming received such a boost of interest lately?
So I think it received so much of boost in this time, at the time of lockdown. It gets lots of boost.
Yeah.
Because everyone is at home and they want to some of them they are fired from the job, and they want to earn something. So I think Synack provided a great platform to help them in such a way, and it's good. I mean, they are earning from these platforms and stay connected with everything.
And do you use Launchpoint Plus?
Yeah, so I do use Launchpoint Plus, and I think it's quite fast, and you do not need a safeguard script to safeguard your target, because what happens sometimes is on LP you leave the scanning of a target, and sometime the LP disconnects, and um, or the traffic goes through your network, and that might affect the client asset. And I got a warning from client to for one time. So I think it protects you from LP Plus protects you from all these activities.
And how does it compare to using your own system?
So I get in my system, I get a speed of whatever my provider serves, but I think you will get a better speed in LP Plus, and the hardware requirements are also very good.
And I guess you've seen it changing over the years, seeing as you've been with Synack for so long. Is it quite interesting for you to see different products being released by Synack?
So yeah, I've been into Synack from last 6 years, so I have never seen such active community and such activeness of product releases right now, which is happening right now.
And you touched on the activeness of the community there. Have you noticed a very big increase in community, activity or speaking with each other, and more of a sort of camaraderie between SRT members?
So I think I have suggested to have this kind of community and a Slack channel of SRTs before, but I think at that time the community team didn't notice, but the current community team has taken the feedback very seriously, and they have created the Slack channel for us where we can collaborate with each other, we can ask the questions, we can share our problems, and it's been, the current community team is taking a lot more seriousness over our feedbacks.
Yeah, I've been hearing quite a lot from the other SRT podcasts that everyone has their own things that they like to do in their spare time, and they quite like to know what the other ones are doing, and they find that out in the Hacker Hangouts. Is there anything in particular you like to do when you're not working? Is there, just to sort of get to know a little bit more about what you like to do outside of work?
So my daily routine was like I get up and I do some exercises to get my mind fresh, and I take shower, and then I have some black coffee, and then I start hacking for the day. And when I get bored, or when I need something else to do, I usually uh, I usually get to start the some kind of game in my system. So uh, I enjoy the game and music itself.
Yeah, and do you find that these things, each time you're about to start your workflow, help you be more productive?
Yeah, these things actually, the exercise, yoga, and the black coffee, I think one of my trainer have told me that black coffee increase your focus, and I think these things keeps your mind fresh, and you can hack, I mean, in daily life you can hack with the confidence, with that energy.
I think also, aside from an ethical hacking point of view, it's important now that everyone's in lockdown to make sure that they're looking after their exercise and talking with other people, and making sure that they do give themselves that slight bit of normality as well while everyone's stuck inside, right?
Yeah. So in lockdown you don't have to do anything. I mean, I right now I'm making my I do not cook, so I started cooking. I started learning from YouTube that this things this will be created like this, and I'm not I'm I'm making some kind of stuff. I'm making some kind of stuff too.
So this is also giving you different skills.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a good one to watch if you want to know some cooking programs. Definitely check out Gordon Ramsay. He's my personal favorite. Jamie Oliver's okay. Apart from that, I'm open to suggestions, so I'll definitely chat with you after this as well if you've got some good cooking tips for me. Now, Nik, we get asked this question by almost everyone when we put the questions out there, is what are your hobbies?
So I like to play football. I like to play the cricket. The cricket is one of game that plays in very few countries, and it is one of the famous game in India too.
It's a great sport.
Yeah, and I like to watch Netflix movies, Netflix series, and some Marvel series too.
Marvel,
And
excellent. Me too.
great. And I those are my most of the hobbies that I do in my free time.
And do you have a favorite Netflix series?
So yeah, I love the Lucifer.
Oh, Lucifer, about the devil, right?
It's
The
kind
devil
of devil,
in the daytime, yeah.
devil crime story.
Nik, a question for maybe some of the other SRT members out there, or those looking to become ethical hackers with Synack, is everyone wants to know about the swag that you get. The SRT has some really cool swag. You've got the hoodies, you've got hats. What swag have you got, and what's your favorite piece?
So I I start with the 2016. I won the DEF CON challenge, and I got the swag. I got a hoodie, and there was DEF CON challenge competitor winner is written on it. So that was very proud moment. And then in 2017, they have another hoodie. In 2018, they have another hoodie for different competition. And in 2019, I got an award, most trusted hacker, from Synack, and I got a video game.
A video game?
Because of, yeah.
Cool. Which one?
I didn't remember exactly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So and then I went to Vegas, and then I got power bank of Synack, then one small whiskey bottle, and uh, uh, cup. There was t-shirts, there was coffee mug, water bottles, all by SRTs. And recently I got the new hoodie that is launched by Synack, and it was very cool.
Nice. I've seen Ryan wear that one when I was
Yeah.
last over in San Francisco. It's very cool. I'm quite jealous. I need to get one of them.
It's one of the best hoodies Synack ever made.
Yeah, I don't know how I'm going to get my hands on one, but I'm going to try somehow.
I'm also gonna get this in June, I guess, after this lockdown.
Yeah, when the lockdown's over, that's also my window to try and get one.
Yeah.
And what would you recommend to anyone looking for a career in hacking? What advice would you give to future people wanting to know how to get into it?
So I'll advise that keep on learning, stay humble, and give back to the community. You can keep learning from Twitter. I mean, there are quite many Twitter trends that from where you can learn from yourself. Like there is a bug bounty trend running on Twitter, bug bounty tips trend running on Twitter. You can read from different books. If your basics are not clear, you can read from different books like Web Application Hackers Handbook, Mobile Application Hackers Handbook, and you can create your basics, and always remain humble, and that way you can learn more and give back to the community.
When you help these companies solving and patching their vulnerabilities, do you get a sense of achievement as well, knowing that you've made them more secure?
If you make them secure, they are probably be safe by the breaches, and the customer data remains remains safe. And I think it's it's kind of noble cause.
It is definitely a noble cause. For those CISOs who are nervous or perhaps apprehensive about letting hackers inside their network, what advice would you give to them as to why it's important to allow that?
Okay, so I think allow us to get into your network so we can secure your I mean, we can find the vulnerabilities, and you can patch it, and we can help secure the whole whole of your product, and this will help your customers only because their data remains safe, and they will trust you as well.
And it's definitely more important to have both human testing and the scanning tools. You can't really have one without the other because you won't pick up on everything, right?
Yeah, absolutely. If you're just relied on tools, you'll never gonna win. I mean, the continuous testing should be there, and it should be human.
And using platforms like Launchpoint Plus allows you to have that visibility and trust between the crowd, the community, and the company.
Yeah, if you're using Launchpoint Plus, then I mean, all your traffic must come from Synack network only, and you will get that trust.
Is there anything else you would like to add before we end, Nik? Anything else you would like to let the people listening know about? Anything that's going on that you want to bring to their attention?
Learn from community, learn from whatever other people write in their blogs. Learn from Twitter trends, and keep on learning things, and you will become a better hacker then in that way.
Thanks very much for that advice, Nik. Also, thanks so much for joining us. It's been really fun to catch up with you again in this episode, and I'm hoping that you and I can catch up again in the future, maybe on the airwaves, maybe in India, hopefully. That would be great fun.
I'll be wait to you in India.
Sure. In the meantime, stay safe, and to all the listeners out there, thanks for tuning in, and we will catch you in the next episode.
Thanks, Nik. Thanks, guys.
Cheers, Nik. Bye.
Bye.